Today we're going to do a little crochet and go over some just news events of the day. So there was the issue in New Orleans with several people dead. That's on CNN News. Oops.
Council hereby provides notice of filing the following. So these are going to be things that are filed with the appeal.
Then it's been a crazy year. Then there's the Diddy stuff. The best sources I found for that was The Lawyer You Know and Emily D. Baker on their YouTube channels. They focus with just the court filings and not any of the craziness. If you wanted to know more of the crazy, on TikTok, Allie Carter and Jaguar Wright have some scoops and crazy on that. So we'll just have to see what comes out in 2025 with that mess. By the way, happy 2025. And then, so that was crazy. Hopefully we left the fog behind in 2024. And that's one of the most logical explanations I heard was volcano ash, which in Hawaii, when I lived there, they call it bog, and it's volcano fog. And it drops particles of ash. It can burn your skin, make it difficult to breathe. That made the most sense on that one. Oops. And then hopefully we leave the drone nonsense behind too. We'll see. I don't know. It was a little bit weird. And then there's the craziness today with Meghan and Harry, the supposedly missing kids, surrogate kids. I don't even care about that stuff anymore. I do have some YouTube watchers. I watch just because I enjoy listening to them, but not necessarily the topic. And I found that I like to go directly to the country that I feel like is the most affected. So the 3 British sources I found was Lady Colin Campbell, and then TNT, which is Tea and Therapy. So those are the British sources. And then Popcorn Planet and Popcorn Palace, they cover current events. And Popcorn Palace features Steph, the altar nerd, which she has her own space, but she's from Britain, so she can give us their point of view. And then Brittany at the Royal News Network is pretty interesting as far as royal news, fashion. And I like watching her fashion stuff. So those were just some sources I found interesting. We'll see what happens to TikTok in 2025, if it gets banned or not. There is some craziness on TikTok as far as total photoshopped AI stuff. But it is interesting to just let people speak their piece, as long as they're not hurting anybody or threatening to harm somebody. Okay, so today I'm working on some of the rose flowers. Doing a few more of those. Then I'm going to switch to tulips, I think.
So these are a lot of hearing transcripts. It looks like almost every hearing in the last 2 years on this case.
Let's see, what else is happening in today in the news? Those were the main things I had seen so far. CNN and the BBC have YouTube channels, and they are also on TikTok.
What happened during one year? So I hope that not all of this understand. No, I know transcripts can be very costly. That's okay. That's what we're here for. That's part of what I do. I don't mind paying for the transcripts.
There's going to be quite a few court cases that were coming up in 2025. Again, I like to watch Emily D. Baker. She's a lawyer who's now doing more on the Law Tube. And then Law and Lumber, Runkle and the Bailey, they're lawyers that give their opinion on the case. A little less drama, a little more fact.
So here's what this means. In these hearings from March March 31st through April 29th.
And I got to say hello to Miss Ellie. She likes to watch. I don't know. We'll keep playing. I'll keep working on this to make sure that the crochet itself is clearer, but this gives you an up close view.
Uncut deposition. If you've seen those, then you know that there were jump cuts, and they have times at the bottom, and the timestamps help. They have timestamps at the bottom, and then they get cut up. That happens because in the deposition, the attorney, for the party will make an objection.
And I have to count, so it's kind of difficult to talk about anything specific without pausing. So we'll see how that goes. It's a learning curve, learning process here. Some of the videos you might like better than others. I'm waiting for some specific colored yarn to come in for some specific Valentine's and Easter projects. I want a little darker red. This one is a little bit bright. And one thing I have found for the last 6 months, and I don't know if this has to do with anything specific, I haven't found a reason yet, but a lot of colors are out of stock in yarn. Like around Christmas, the reds, blacks, and whites were out of stock, especially out of the types of yarn, and I looked multiple types that I like, and they were out of stock, so I'm not sure why. There for a while, there was a big thing on check the shipping containers for transporting people. That's kind of died off. I haven't heard much else about that.
I don't think this Laura Dickenry came in. Terrence Doherty, Josh Drew, Aaron Filati, William Gatlin, Eric George, Taylor Hayden.
Oh, and then there was the girl on the subway. I'm not sure that they've ever totally identified her. There was a picture floating around online of somebody they was saying was the person that was set afire, but I don't know that that's been confirmed. That was the last I heard yesterday, that was not confirmed to be true, so I don't know.
Roberto Lopez, Joel Mandel, Elizabeth Mars, Michelle Maloney, Tina Newman, corporate designee of Walt Disney, Brandon Peterson.
Then there's supposed to be big snow fronts coming in, the polar Arctic weather hitting most of the United States, but mostly mid-east from what I was hearing. It's pretty cold here in Montana with light snow, not a ton. Montana needs the snow to help prevent the fires come spring and summer, and most of their precipitation here is snow in the winter. Then the last few days I've been going back and watching a lot of Bailey Sorian and her dark history, and it was talking about bottled water companies, specifically Nestle's, and how they emptied aquifers, the fresh water, to bottle it. And she was talking, it was in Indiana, I believe, where there was some pollution. They had gotten water. We're selling it back to the people in the area after they had depleted the underground water supply. Kind of craziness. She was talking a lot about food chemicals. So her series is interesting. Definitely can get you into some further research there.
There are rarely leaks in the court system. It happens. It's bad when it does. It's like the hospital leaking Britney Spears' private medical information. It's appalling.
And how Nestle started as a baby food or milk for babies, a formula company. It was interesting. And then she had she was talking also about Johnson & Johnson and some of the stuff they've done. That was interesting. If you're interested in learning more, check out her videos on dark history. For those with sensitive ears, she does curse a fair amount, but she has some interesting facts. So it's definitely not meant for children.
With that, we will see. And I know
I was trying on my videos to make sure that they were child appropriate. Like one of my little fans is Miss Ellie, who's young. But when I click the made for kids, it limits
should be, it's on calendar now,
um,
24th, and then we will see
how the videos are dispersed, so I can't be clicking on just that. However, all of these are, for the most part, other than maybe topics for mid-age kids, most of my videos are kid appropriate.
those items now before they are sealed. No, they are not filed with the court yet, so they are not yet available.
This when they kids that understand what's going on wouldn't need to be hearing about the news stuff. And I'm curious how things that are going on is going to affect people's travel plans.
So anyway, I need to let Dr. B know Best Buy should be.
And I was looking up travel alerts today, but some of them, they don't seem to keep their page current. They go clear back to 2023. I don't know. I've got to do some more studying on that. Maybe it's still in place. Just was reading kind of odd as I was going down the list.
It's about 20 minutes. It's going to take a while, and then we will get into questions. I might pop questions up before we, if something catches my eye, I'll pop it up as we're talking about this. But I also wanted to say,
so if you don't want to hear the commentary, but you find the crochet relaxing, you can just mute my voice and watch the crochet. A lot of people find it mesmerizing and relaxing. Crochet can be very therapeutic for people. A lot of younger kids are now picking it up.
And when we put this poll up, like over 30,000 people that you wanted to cover these, which is part of it. So as we get into these interviews, I'm going to make a few reminders. We are here to look at these interviews based on what is being said in relation to what we saw in court. If there's anything
now this red is very bright. I want a more maroon, crimson red. A lot of the reds are still out of stock though. So we'll see what I end up getting. What's available.
She is a difficult individual. My patience have been thoroughly tested as I watched these real quick. But we were able to find grace for Heated Spears, and if we can find grace in this chat for James Heated Spears, we can find grace for Amber Heard and still talk about whatever fuckery pops off in these interviews without ad hominem attacks on the person. So, I know that can be a difficult line to walk, but we all get to expand our critical thought together because we can be critical of what's said without being.
So does anybody set New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals? I switched probably 20 to 30 years ago. I switched from resolution to goals. They seem a little bit less intimidating that way.
We just do the things the way we do them online. These were on. Oh, that's not cute.
And my new saying for the end of 24, I think I'll carry into 2025. Life is messy, but we're all learning. Hopefully we continue to get better.
I'm going to keep these a little bit small because the quality just looks shit. It just does. And I get it.
So.
I get it. The Today Show is making a full meal out of this. And just while I'm not going to shade content creators for making money, I'm not going to Today Show paper bag. I mean, I realize the Today Show's bag is like billions, but a year, I get why they're making a meal out of it. I want to know how much they paid Amber Heard. I don't think that question will ever be answered. Maybe someone will investigate what they think that will be. I'm curious. But I know Shane, they're going to air all of this at a primetime special. So of course they're not putting out the highest quality clips. They don't want everyone else clipping it down. Everyone else is clipping it down. But they do want people talking about it. So there's this like
I gotta periodically count my stitches here.
So let us, I'm gonna keep this a little bit smaller just so that.
So this is the ruffling and it's the rows. Then I'm doing these and I have to do things in stages. And then the next stage is with hot glue, all the flower stuff, the wire, the sticks, putting them on the sticks. But I'm not going to put them together yet till my green comes in and I can make some leaves. I don't really have any green now that's appropriate yet for the leaves. I have a bright lime green, which is definitely not working, a sage green that's a little too mute, and then a blue green, which would be the closest. But I'm waiting on a dark green to come in. So I'll do the leaves and then I can put it all together. And I'm thinking it needs like some ferns or something with it to make a nice little bouquet. And then I'm also going to make some tulips. Have some tulips ready. And then I'll keep going. I'd like to make some ferns. Or not the ferns. The, oh, I'm not sure the name of them. The Hawaiian plant with the big leaves that are a great house plant. So do some house plant greenery kind of plants. I think those would be kind of neat. So we'll see how these roses go together and the tulips, and then I'll expand over. And I find I like to do enough of each one so that when I move on, that I'm not going back and forth. I'm moving to, because it takes a little bit to learn a new pattern. And it's hard to for me to transition back and forth. I do better if I stick with one thing for a while, get it nice and solid, and then move to something new. And then when I need to stretch or my hands get tired, I switch over and I'm working on the bags that I've been doing lately.
This is on the Today Show's website if you want to watch this as well without commentary. I think Savannah asked fair questions about that. But that was not an answer, that was a word salad. I feel like word salad is where we're at.
By your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse. Of course.
I'm going to back that up because...
Oh, then there was the whole Blake Lively issue with her co-star from that movie. Kind of sounds like there was some bad behavior, definitely on his part. But we'll see how that comes out in the wash. We will see.
A long time coming. Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse? Of course.
Do you stand by your defamation? Her answer was, of course. And this is where I begin to have
this thread, I'm using a 2.5 hook, and the thread is fairly big, but it keeps the stitches nice and tight. But it will periodically want to split the thread, which is absolutely no fun.
Publishing defamatory accusations by saying my accusations, which are now well known, are true.
So I had shared videos of dogs playing with my dog toys. Those have been really popular. So
I don't know if Johnny Depp's team will choose to do anything about that. But this interview could have new defamatory statements that are tied and connected to what happened in the trial.
and I had a request for some more of the baked dog bones. I'll be doing some more of those here in a few weeks.
Johnny Depp's team might not choose to do that. They've already won. But I think we will see.
Right now, I have stuff, all my sewing has migrated into my kitchen, so I've got to get all that stuff cleaned up. It's driving me crazy. I have all my little workstations. It's just a lot right now. Gotta rein it in a bit today.
But they can also choose to get an injunction and go to the court instead of suing again, the way we saw in the Cardi B Tasha case, and say, Your Honor, she's still at it. Permanent injunction from making these particular statements. And if she's talking, we'll get into the free speech stuff, but if she's talking about free speech now, she is not going to like a permanent injunction that literally says these are the words that need to stay the fuck out of her mouth. And generally you can't pre-enjoin speech. The remedy normally comes after the shit's out of the horse. But she's lost a defamation case. They can enjoin her from re-alleging the defamatory statements they absolutely
Almost there. We're getting to the end of this one.
because this, I
And then I will roll it up and kind of give you a rough idea. It'll go together tighter with the glue, but I can give you a rough estimate of what it looks like.
Which is why I think an injunction makes more sense than trying to relitigate this again. I think Jeff has already achieved his goal. I think his goal was rehabilitation in the public eye and having all of it out on the table. Look, this is everything, decide. Because
okay, so we're going to roll this up and I'll show you roughly what it's going to look like. But the glue will hold it tighter because it wants to curl up on me. All right, we got to start over.
Without being able to back it up in such a public way. So I was definitely like, well, I mean, why would you lie about that against someone who has unlimited or seemingly unlimited resources to fight back? Because that would make no sense.
Okay, this would have glue in it to hold it better. But that's a rough estimate of the row. It's kind of wanting to pop out there without the glue, but that's the rough idea. All right. Again, if you didn't like the chitty chat in the background, just mute it and you can watch the crochet. And thank you very much. Enjoy.